The sun shone brightly over the small village of São Tomé. The sound of church bells echoed through the air, announcing the big day. The murmur of guests filled the space, while flowers decorated every corner. Everything seemed perfect. But something, or rather someone, knew that this day was far from being a fairy tale. Amid the excitement, a pair of sharp, watchful eyes observed from a golden perch. Nico, a parrot with vibrant green feathers, tilted his head from side to side as if he knew something no one else did. While everyone smiled and eagerly awaited the perfect couple's vows, Nico whispered softly, "No one can know, Miguel, tomorrow it ends." The guests laughed, amused by the talking parrot, but what they didn't realize was that those words held a secret that would change everything forever. At the altar, Raphael was sweating nervously, and Father Miguel avoided eye contact. What this small parrot was about to reveal in that crucial moment would destroy lives and leave a mark the village would never forget. Little did they know that sometimes the most painful truths come from the least expected places. The perfect couple, or so it seemed. The village of São Tomé was known for its tranquility, but this year something different was in the air. The wedding of Clara and Raphael was the talk of the town. Clara, a sweet and dreamy young woman, had won the affection of everyone. Her smile lit up any room, and her kindness was admired throughout the village. Raphael, with his irresistible charm and captivating gaze, was seen as the perfect man. They seemed to be a couple straight out of a love story. But not everything was as it seemed. In Clara's small home lived a special resident, Nico, the parrot she had raised since he was a chick. Nico was no ordinary parrot. Besides his emerald green feathers and sharp beak, he possessed an unusual intelligence. He was known for repeating entire phrases with frightening accuracy, mimicking voices and tones like a living recorder. And without anyone realizing it, Nico had heard more than he should. While Clara was busy preparing for the wedding, Raphael, whom everyone believed to be just as excited, was hiding a dark secret. During the quiet nights, as Clara fell asleep exhausted after a day of wedding planning, Raphael made secret phone calls. His low voice filled the room, but what he didn't know was that Nico was always listening. "Raphael, Miguel, I miss you. I don't know how I'll go on after the wedding, but no one can know. Understand? No one." From his perch, Nico repeated softly, "Nico, no one can know, Miguel, no one. Miguel." At first, Raphael found it amusing. After all, it was just a parrot. What harm could it do? However, as the days passed, Nico began repeating these phrases during the day, even in front of Clara. She was too busy with wedding preparations to pay attention. She laughed at the parrot's words. "Clara, where do you get these things, Nico? You naughty bird," she said while arranging flowers or trying on her wedding dress. But something inside her stirred with unease. Why did Nico keep saying Miguel's name? Father Miguel was the young priest of the local church, admired for his kindness and dedication. He was respected by all. But in the shadows, Miguel carried a heavy secret. He was in love with Raphael. Worse, Raphael returned his love. Their secret meetings took place at odd hours, when Clara was too distracted with wedding preparations. Miguel knew it was wrong, but his heart spoke louder. Raphael, on the other hand, saw the wedding as an escape from the feelings consuming him. He believed that by marrying Clara, everything would end. But love does not always obey reason. Nico, unaware of the weight of his words, memorized everything he heard. Night after night he absorbed Raphael and Miguel's whispered conversations. "Raphael, tomorrow it ends, Miguel. No one can know about us." With the big day approaching, tension mounted. Raphael grew restless, and Miguel became increasingly anxious, trying to convince himself that the wedding was the best thing to do. But Nico had absorbed it all. On the eve of the wedding, as Clara slept deeply, dreaming of her future, Raphael made one last call to Miguel. He needed to hear his voice one last time before sealing his fate. "Raphael, Miguel, I don't know if I can go through with it tomorrow. When I say I do, everything ends. No one can know what we had. Forgive me. Nico, awake, repeated softly. Nico, tomorrow it ends. No one can know. You're just a stupid parrot. You don't understand anything. What he didn't realize was that this very parrot would be the one to destroy everything he was trying to hide. The next day, the village was in celebration. The church was adorned with white flowers, guests dressed in their finest, and Clara, radiant in her wedding dress, seemed to be living a dream. Raphael, standing at the altar, felt sweat trickling down his temple. Miguel, in his impeccable priestly robes, tried to hide his nervousness. Nico, perched on a golden stand decorated with ribbons, watched everything with sharp eyes. He knew something was wrong. Nico, no one can know. Miguel, tomorrow it ends. The guests laughed, thinking it was just a funny quirk of the parrot, but Raphael felt his blood drain from his face. Miguel swallowed hard. Clara frowned slightly, but continued forward. She thought it was just one of Nico's many antics. No one expected what would happen next. As they reached the altar, silence filled the church. Then, clear as day, Nico repeated, Raphael, forgive me. No one can know what we had, Miguel. A deafening silence followed. Guests exchanged confused glances. Clara froze, staring at Raphael. The parrot tilted his head, as if waiting for a response he knew would never come. Raphael felt sweat dripping down his temples. His heart pounded in his chest. Clara asked, What did Nico mean, Raphael? Raphael replied, Love, he's just a parrot. He repeats things he hears, that's all. Let's continue, please. But Nico wouldn't stop. Nico, tomorrow it ends, Miguel. No one can know about us. Clara, Raphael, tell me this isn't true. Miguel's hands trembled so much he could barely hold the ceremonial book. Raphael struggled to find words, but Nico wasn't done. Nico, Miguel, I love you. Gasps filled the church. Clara turned to Raphael. Clara, how long, Raphael? How long have you been deceiving me? Raphael, since we started planning the wedding. Clara's tears fell freely. She looked at Miguel, who remained silent. Everything she believed in had crumbled in seconds because of a parrot. Nico, now quiet, watched her with knowing eyes. The wedding was over. Raphael and Miguel's secret was out. The village would never be the same. Raphael, ashamed, left São Tomé. Miguel, consumed by guilt, renounced the priesthood. Clara, heartbroken, stayed. She opened a small cafe where Nico became the star. People came from all over to hear the parrot that had exposed a forbidden love. And every time someone asked Nico what happened at the wedding, the parrot playfully replied, Nico, no one can know. And now everyone knew.